So how did these construction workers manage to steal £22 million from HMRC? 5 of them were sentenced earlier this year, but a few weeks ago, another 8 people were sentenced for their involvement in this scheme. It's actually quite interesting, guys. I learned quite a little bit about how the construction industry works while I was researching this video. So give the video a like. Let's get that out of the way, my people. So one of the culprits and one of the main reasons why HMRC and the Kent police were even able to discover what was going on is because this guy, Phillip Bailey from Meopham, I have no idea where that is. Meopham village in England. Whereabouts is that? Yeah, no, it's not far out from London. It's not far from Woolwich, bro. It looks like a nice chill place. Well, he was arrested in April 2020. They say a thief led police directly to his front door when detectives found a stolen Range Rover or Land Rover on his driveway and a stash of weapons inside his home. And in October 2020, he was jailed. And this is the arrest video. Yeah. This is on the 7th of April.
I don't know anything about that.
You know how people are stealing Range Rovers, bro.
Right, so when I asked you, I said, oh, you can control all the vehicles here, you said yes. So at the moment, you're being linked to this vehicle.
Right, okay.
We need to know, if it isn't yours, we need to rule it out, obviously know whose it was, who's given it to you, so we can deal with it that way. So is this your vehicle or not, or is it somebody else's? It's not your vehicle at all, no? Do you know whose it is?
No.
You don't know whose it is? You just said your friend dropped it off here.
Yeah, no, I think we're at the road, it's left it.
Right, okay.
They got you, mate.
Right, mate, I'm going to be straight with you, because at the moment in time, I've got a suspicion that this is a stolen car that we're after, and it's on your land. I'm placing you under arrest on suspicion of theft of motor vehicle, okay?
All right.
So you don't have to say anything, but it may harm your defence. Do not mention one question, something which later on in court.
Yep.
Anything you do say may be given evidence, you understand?
Yep.
That's why I made you want to jump back here for us.
And they found guns in his yard, bro. And you know one thing, yeah, I'll give white criminals, yeah? They know when it's over. Like, they know when it's done. It's like, okay, it's done, bro. Like, you've caught me red-handed. You're going to search my crib. Like, well, what the fuck am I going to do? Like, they know when it's over. He was sentenced at Woolwich Crown Court, and he was locked up for 10 years and 10 months. Goddamn. They found 6 guns and multiple rounds of ammunition hidden inside the house, along with drugs, cash, 8 expensive Rolex watches. So this guy had his fingers in every pie, bro. He wasn't just dealing with guns. He wasn't just dealing with drugs. He was also chopping HMRC, and look at all that ammunition there. Now, you guys are probably thinking, Tankz, what the fuck does that have to do with £22 million HMRC fraud? Well, I'm going to explain it to you guys. The elaborate plot came to light when one of the group, Phillip Bailey, was arrested and investigated for firearms, theft and money laundering offences in April 2020. As part of their inquiries, officers began looking into the 36-year-old's finances and established he was a criminal accountant. The group set up a series of labour supply companies, keeping VAT payments from customer companies that should have gone to HMRC for themselves. Similarly, they also withheld financial deductions from subcontractors, agreements that should have been given to HMRC under the CIS scheme for themselves, construction industry scheme. And I'm going to explain what the construction industry scheme is to you guys, because I didn't know this. You know, if a painter or a plumber, you know, or an electrician comes to your house and you ask them to give you a quote, and they look around and they say, this, probably 2.5 grand, mate. And I say, what about 2,000 in cash? You know, cash, because 2,500's a bit much. Oh, mate, you know what? I could do 2,200 cash, you know, if I could maybe go down to that. It's a lot, but 2,200 cash, you know, we can definitely, you know, and then we shake hands and then we move on. Well, it has absolutely nothing to do with that. Let's say a property developer pays my company £1 million to build 25 flats. Let's say 20 flats for simplicity. I have to charge that customer VAT. If my business is making over £90,000 a year, they force you to register for VAT. If you're buying things that are going to be used by the business, you're able to claim back VAT. If you've got a big property development company that is definitely making more than £90,000 a year, you have to charge your customer VAT. So the person who wants the flats pays me £1.2 million. Now that £200,000 is supposed to go to HMRC. And let's say I have a good relationship with, you know, the electrician that we were talking about earlier, the one who would happily take £2,200 in cash. He started his own electrician company. You know, he's got like 20 electricians there and they're looking for the work. He wants 200 grand to do the job, but he's not CIS registered, construction industry scheme registered. If he was CIS registered, I would only have to withhold 20%. But because he's not, I have to withhold 30%. So instead of me paying him 200 grand, I pay him 140 grand and I'm supposed to pay 60 grand CIS I've taken to HMRC. My electrician's not happy with that. And I say, bro, you need to go and get CIS registered. And he says, then I would get my money back. I say, no, bro, sorry. I'd be able to give you an extra 20 grand, but I'd still have to take 40 grand if you were registered. And he's fuming. He doesn't want to do the job anymore. And I say, nah, bro, don't worry. You're able to to claim that back. And he's mad because he still has to pay his workers. And I say, bro, I don't make the rules, bro. So now my company now owes over £250,000 to HMRC, 200k in VAT and £60,000 for the CIS scheme. But what these guys were doing is keeping that money for themselves. Now, construction's a big business. You see buildings being built all the time, always work being done. So imagine that's one job. Like, that is one £1.2 million job. Bailey from Beechwood Gardens, Meopham, I'm probably butchering the pronunciation, but he was found to have set up agreements with recruited construction and logistic companies. Bailey set up front companies and bank accounts to divert tax payments away from HMRC. The companies and accounts were set up in the names of front directors, not his own. In turn, he would pay off complicit company directors with a portion of the money he made from the scheme. One of these was Kevin Ratcliffe, 43, from Long Hill Road, Ovingdean, Brighton, who owned a construction company in Sussex. Lee Hudson was an office worker who was conducting the day-to-day business which enabled these offences. Sarah Gillard and Bradley Mortimer functioned as cash couriers for money laundering these illicit activities. Now, they might have got away with this if it wasn't for Phillip, what was his name again? Phillip Bailey getting arrested. Apparently, they used to have a separate payroll company that would receive the money. They'd make it look all legit. They'd handle the paperwork. They'd make it look like it was an active company, you know, with things going on, so it wouldn't be flagged up to HMRC. They would pay the subcontractors. They would make sure the work's done. Everybody would get paid except HMRC. When it came to paying HMRC, the company would be bankrupt. The company wouldn't have any money. HMRC would be forced to liquidate it. And by the time HMRC's liquidated that company, there is nothing for them to get. And it says they were doing this from 2018. And on the 28th of October this year, another 8 people who pocketed millions of pounds in unpaid taxes have been sentenced. The criminal group created several fake labor supply companies to keep VAT payments that should have gone to HMRC. And people need to remember, bro, I spoke about this like last year, maybe not last year, maybe earlier on this year. HMRC is not playing if you're not paying your tax, bro. They're not here to play. They've got new AI systems to detect people's social media lifestyles and take a look at what they're doing. They're able to look at 10 years of your bank history, bro. They're able to do these things. This country's broke. They're coming for any money they can get. Robert Haywood, 56, from Witham in Essex, was the director of multiple scaffolding. There's bare dodgy man in Essex, bro. Bare dodgy man in Essex, bro. I'm telling you, when I got my windows tinted in Essex, yeah, like years ago, the guys were just chilled. Like, I was their only client for the entire day. But it's like, you know, they had other things going on. He allowed his company's payroll to be run through these fake companies. The group paid the subcontractors but kept the VAT and CIS tax owed to HMRC. Haywood is believed to have received around £2.8 million as his share of the criminal profits. Not too bad. We're not encouraging this. Obviously, these guys are disgusting criminals, you know, who stole from us. You know, we say us, you know, even though the government's in debt, you know, and even though, you know, old people are freezing in their homes, they still stole from us somehow, you know. Even though Palantir is going to get a big contract for digital ID, you know, worth billions, you know, they've still stolen from us, you know, even though they can print more money, they've still stolen from us. Danny Kaufman, 54. These are grown-ass men, bro. They thought they were comfy, bro. And if that guy, if Phillip never got arrested, they may have well just been comfy, chilling, living out in Essex, you know, peaceful. He was the contracts manager at one of Haywood's companies and introduced the fake payroll/labor supply companies, in return receiving cash bonuses amounting to £400,000. And I'll tell you this, guys. The mastermind, Phillip, is a smart guy, bro. He's a smart guy. I guarantee you they've got like double in crypto. They've got more in crypto or something like that when they get out. When they get out, they're laughing. But these guys are going to get hit with POCA, Proceeds of Crime Act. They're going to get POCA disgustingly. So I reckon once they get out of prison, they're going to move to Dubai. Probably. Gary Peck, 44, from Chatham, was the director of a scaffolding and roofing company, or companies, plural, that allowed his company's payroll to be channeled through fake payroll and supply companies. He received about £338,000 as his share of the criminal profits. Stuart Peck, 42, from Pilgrims Road, Rochester, allowed the same with his painting and decorating business, pocketing £128,000. And yeah, there's a lot of other people getting sentenced because others would need to be involved in this. It's like, hey, you've got a painting and decorating business. Let me handle your payroll through this company. You've got a big contract to do this. Okay, still get the work done. Yeah. But the VAT and the CIS you're meant to give to HMRC, nah, we'll do it in a way so we can keep it. Here's your cut. I'll take my cut. Boom, boom, boom. William Chadwick, 27, was arrested and found to be part of the OCG, Organised Crime Group, when he was found in possession of £40,000 in packages and envelopes destined for delivery to complicit company directors. He was found guilty of transferring criminal property. Louise Roman, 58, grown people, there's young people and there's grown people, from Essex, was an account manager for Haywood and had full knowledge of the scam. The organized crime group passed the cash destined for Robert Haywood through her, and for this, she received her own cash payment from the criminal profits. She pleaded guilty to cheating the public, revenue, and transferring criminal property. Sam Montague from Cambridgeshire pleaded guilty to transferring criminal property. Mark Jennings pleaded guilty to cheating the public, revenue, and acquiring criminal property. He received over £100,000 from his share. 7 members have been jailed for more than 33 years. It's not that much of a deterrent. Lee Hudson, who worked in the organized crime group's offices for 5 years, ran the payroll and was aware that the business made its money by stealing the VAT and CIS payments. He received a large amount of cash every week in addition to his legitimate wage paid into his account. Sean, who introduced a large electrical contractor to the OCG and received a 20% cut of the stolen VAT. And that's no pun intended, 20% of the stolen VAT. He also admitted arranging and conducting cash deliveries from the group. They must have done some crazy surveillance on these guys, because Phillip was arrested in 2020. So for 5 years, like, they must have been surveilling these guys. Bradley allowed his bank account and others under his control to be used to launder over £2.1 million of the stolen cash. Money was transferred into the accounts and he withdrew it in cash before handing it to the organized crime group. Well, come the fuck, what? Bro, get that money out of the country. Like, they defo have, man. Listen, best believe I'm not trying to, big this up or anything like that. Like, you've stolen money from the taxpayers. However, that's not going to do fuck all. Like, if the government had this money, bro, there's nothing would be different. That's how I see it. But still wrong. They've been brought to justice. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, please be sure to give it a like. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll be lying if I said I wasn't impressed, guys. Chung Lee, what do you think? Chung Lee says that was impressive. I mean, hey, if it wasn't for that meddling stolen Range Rover, man, hey. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace and love to every single one of you guys watching. Thank you.